So let's look at CodeMonkey and the use of functions to get a better understanding. Scenario number one. We have 4 bananas here that we want to go around and collect. So to do that, we can step forward and collect the first banana. So we might have very simple code of firstly stepping 10, and then we'll loop through the 4 bananas. So for B in bananas. And then we're going to step 10 and turn left. And if we run our code, you can see that our monkey goes around and collects our bananas. Let's look at how we can then solve this problem using a function. Now, this may not actually reduce our code, but it just allows us to understand how the function works. So our function is going to get the monkey to move forward and turn left. Okay, so let's call our function get banana. So get banana equals. Now we need to have brackets. These are for the parameters. Now in this case, we have nothing that we want to actually pass in to the function. Now passing something into the function would actually tell it which banana you need to go and collect. But we want this one, for this exercise, it doesn't need to be that complicated. So inside of here, we would have step 10 and turn left. This means that we can call get banana down underneath the for loop. So if we run this, it's going to do exactly the same, but you can see that it's going in and it's using this function. So this is how we can rewrite our code to use functions to break up our tasks into smaller parts. Let's look at a more extensive use of using functions. And here we have our rat that needs to collect the match and then take it to the pile. So our code is simply that we turn to the match, step distance to match, grab the match, then we turn to the pile, step distance to pile. Now, these two lines, line 1 and 2, look very similar to line 4 and 5. The only difference is we're going to a match compared to going to a pile. So this is where functions can be used, where we have sequences that are similar, but objects need to change. So we're performing the same instructions, but we're using a different object. To do that, we're going to define our function of goTo, and it needs to be passing something into it. Now, this time we need to actually have something in there. So this could be object, and then we need the code of what's going to happen in here. So in this case, we're going to have turn to object, step distance to object. So now we can say go to match, grab it, go to pile, and we drop it. Let's run our code. So this is great for simply one element. Let's make it that we've got more matches. So we now have 3 matches. We now need to use a loop around this to be able to reduce our code. Otherwise, we're going to have go to match 0, and then we'd need to copy this code down
and change it to number 1. So this is going to create a lot of extra code. So for m in matches, we're then going to go to m, grab it, go to the pile, drop it. And this is all sitting inside of our for loop. If we run our code, this will now allow us to collect the 3 matches, and we're using our function. So this gives us an idea of how we can use it. Now, a lot of the times in the examples that are given in CodeMonkey, there is a different object that's used here, a different variable. It's not called object, it might be called A, it might be called C, it might be called P. Okay, so CodeMonkey will use different variables inside of our function that we can use. But the most important thing is that we're using that object to tell it what we need to turn to.